Hey, what's up? Welcome to another edition of the Mandatory Live. We've been going crazy on the lives for about a week now, but we're happy that you're here with us. Make sure to follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO, and also hit that like and subscribe button if you like the content. It also helps the channel grow. What happens if Lomachenko wins?
If Lomachenko wins this fight, well, Kambosos is out of the picture at this point, in terms of contendership and all that. And Vasiliy Lomachenko, then you have like a fucking massive fight on your hands if you're top rank, and you know where I'm going because I just went there. Vasiliy Lomachenko versus Shakur Stevenson. Like, are you kidding me? I've been wanting to see that fight since Shakur Stevenson has sort of progressed, particularly when he became a champion at 130. I was like, oh, okay, like he's actually reaching like Lomachenko territory. Lomachenko had already been a lightweight at that point. It's perfect. Like, I think that's what I would go for next. If Lomachenko is interested, he may want like a voluntary title defense before that. You know what I mean? He may want something else before that. I don't know when's the last time he's had one of those type of fights where he just has like a sort of light work title defense, because he's had a weird sort of arc since losing to Teofimo Lopez. But yeah, I think that's the fight I would look at.
But you know what? I don't know if he would take another like stupid fight before fighting a guy like Shakur Stevenson, because I mean, Loma's getting older, right? Like he only has so much time at this point where it's like we're kind of seeing the latter end of his career. He's 36 years old now,
Uh-huh.
right? So this is like the end of his career. This is Lomachenko's last run. This is his last run. He wanted to be undisputed, and to be perfectly honest, to see him so crushed after Devin Haney, after losing that bout to Devin Haney, because I feel like a lot of people thought he won. I think he did enough. Um, I know actually I think Devin did enough. I thought I gave Devin the last round from what I remember. So I did have Devin edging out Lomachenko. But for Loma, I think if he wins this fight, then he has a massive fight against Shakur Stevenson. And do we ever possibly get him against Tank? Like if he was able to take care of Shakur Stevenson, wouldn't him and Tank be a blockbuster fight? That would make a lot of money.
I want Tank to fight one of these dudes at top rank. Just one of them, right? Like just make the fight happen. Tank is awesome, might be the best in this weight class. I
Yeah.
also find him to be very selective with the opposition. Frank Martin is not an easy fight, but I'm not picking Frank Martin to win that. I don't
No.
think you are either. I don't know who is, especially after his last performance, which we talked about. We actually have some good comments here that I think are worth getting to.
Yeah.
XL, I think, feels exactly the same way as you and I do. I'm not excited at all for Loma Kambosos. Of course, I'm going to watch it though.
To be honest, and this is, I'm gonna probably give away my pick with this. I'm just watching to see how Loma looks. That's it.
Yes.
I just want to see if
Yes.
Loma has a good performance. He's one of my favorite boxers, so I'm
And
tuning in just for Loma.
and and if Kambosos could surprise me, I'm intrigued at that possibility, right? Like, what if? Because this happens sometimes. What if you're not going to believe me? But what if?
I listen. You know what? It's, and this is different from this is totally different from Ryan and Devin Haney,
Yes.
right? Because like Ryan was doing a bunch of erratic stuff before the fight, but Loma's skill set is elite. Like he's one of the, at one point we were talking about Lomachenko being pound for pound number one boxer in the world.
Seriously.
That's what was
He's still on a lot of pound for pound lists right
right.
now.
And he thought he beat Teofimo Lopez. A lot of people thought that he beat Teofimo Lopez as well. I think Teo was the only one that beat him distinctively, to be honest with you.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though
So
even though I had Haney narrowly winning
could have
that
gone
fight,
either way, especially
but
that last round.
it wasn't convincing. Yes.
Yeah, so Teofimo Lopez was the only one to me that did it distinctively. So Lomachenko, ever since that, has kind of been on this weird run. And to be honest with you, I like this fight with George Kambosos Jr. because, and I'm not saying boxing is rigged or anything like that, but I feel like Loma is at the part of his career that he's being set up to fight these guys where it's like we kind of see the L coming. Right. Like, so when they mentioned that he was going to fight Shakur Stevenson at one point before this fight got announced, I was like, I don't know if that's a good fight for Loma, because you kind of see the path that they have Shakur on, right? Shakur is supposed to be like the next king, even though if you don't find him entertaining or whatnot, but he's being set up to be a face of boxing. And I looked at that fight and I thought to myself, I don't know if this is good for Loma, because Devin Haney was also being set to that path to be the king. And I feel like some people thought Loma got robbed. So I didn't want him in a situation where he got robbed again. And I feel like this is the perfect fight for him. Now, if George Kambosos can get it done against Lomachenko, and I'm being disrespectful, I got fam in Australia, so I'm sorry I'm saying this. I will apologize on the show. I will straight up apologize, because I think you know where I'm going to go with my pick with this. I just think it's time for Loma to obviously, get a title again and go on his last run. Let's get to some more comments. We'll go to our boy
I was gonna
Ryan
say.
here. Loma Tank has to happen. I think it's a massive fight for Tank as well. Because listen, everyone's like, who does Tank have on his resume? Who does Tank have on his resume? I think he's the best lightweight in the world. If he had Lomachenko on his list, I think people would have to shut up.
Would Lomachenko be the best name on his list? Best fighter on his list?
Yeah, because I think Ryan Garcia is right now.
Ooh. I think some people might put Isaac Cruz above.
Okay,
Ryan.
yeah, I think so.
It's one of those two, though. Probably. I mean, I love Leo Santa Cruz, but like at the stage he fought him.
Actually, that's a good win. I might put Leo, because Leo, think about it, he's a former champ.
In terms of accomplishments, it's Lomachenko. I just wonder, this part of this is like, how does Lomachenko look this weekend? This is why this matters. If Lomachenko looks great, then yeah, it would be Lomachenko still. But if he like looks older, sluggish, and like barely ekes out like a majority decision win over George Kambosos, then we're probably going to be like, oh, Isaac Cruz might have been more live at the time he fought Gervonta Davis.
I also think that Isaac Cruz at that point wasn't like the Isaac Cruz that we see now, right? He's a champ now. But I also think that when I take a look at the champs in that division, the 140-pound division, I don't know if he's my favorite. We'll keep it at that. Let's go over to Nerd. Nerd, this is what I was saying. Top Rank will try to feed Loma to Shakur. Yes, they're going to try to feed him, or Navarrete. And so, listen, Hustle Man says Lomachenko, Navarrete. I don't like the size of that. The size of that scares me. I don't know if I'd want that as Loma. That's a big fight, though, for Navarrete, who is actually fighting pretty soon in San Diego.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'd rather see. Here's the thing. I don't think, because if they go the route of Shakur and Loma, if Loma wins this after this fight, we're probably not going to see Lomachenko against any of these dudes, because I think Shakur Stevenson would probably win that fight. I don't know. Like, there's a world where volume beats Shakur Stevenson, who doesn't have enough output in that fight. I'm willing to give Shakur Stevenson time to, like, I don't think he's going to be the same dude who fought Edwin De Los Santos in his next fight. Like, I actually think he's going to come out and try to like make a statement, I guess.
I would wonder what those odds would be, Shakur and Loma. But if Loma had a good performance against George Kambosos Jr., which we're going to get into all of this into the next portion within like the next 2 minutes, I would take a look at those lines. And I know the cards would go to Shakur, but depending on how, I think I could, if whatever the odds might be, I would maybe place a bet on Lomachenko.
I think Shakur would be the favorite. Slight. Though.
Yeah.
I think it'd be slight, like no more than like minus 200. And I think it'll be a bet on like youth and defense more than anything else.
An aging Lomachenko, of course.